Scientists currently believe that there's a 10% chance that a supervolcanic Category 7 eruption could take place this century, as pointed out by theoretical physicist Michio Kaku, who appeared on a segment for Fox News. The gray-haired physicist told Shepard Smith that the danger we are now facing with the caldera is that it's long overdue for an eruption, which Kaku said could rip the guts out of the USA. Kaku said that a pocket of lava located under the park has turned out to be twice as big as scientists originally thought. Scientists concur that the last eruption of the caldera took place some 640,000 years ago. The U.S. is currently under contract with at least 4 countries, all of which have agreed to house displaced U.S. citizens in the unfortunate event the Yellowstone supervolcano were to erupt. Hundreds of billions of dollars were paid to foreign governments to facilitate the agreement, which spans a 10-year period from its signing, ending in 2024. The U.S. plan for relocation was formulated after a recent scientific analysis of the park revealed that Yellowstone's supervolcano has the potential to violently erupt within the next 10 years, as noted by others including the famous astrophysicist Michio Kaku. The supervolcano at Yellowstone National Park is being hit by a swarm of hundreds of earthquakes, according to researchers who have been tracking seismic activity this week. More than 400 have been detected in the area since June 12, including a 4.5 magnitude quake within the park on June 15. Researchers say the risk of activating the supervolcano is low and the quakes are nothing to be concerned about, as they are common in the region. However, others believe it is inevitable and only a matter of time before such a disaster takes place. Researchers from the University of Utah, in contrast, have warned the risk is low, with the odds of an eruption each year being 1 in 700,000. However, if and when it erupts, the disaster would radically transform the entire global climate and devastate much of the western United States. The Yellowstone caldera supervolcano last erupted 70,000 years ago, but a spike in seismic activity around the national park has unsettled nerves. If the Wyoming volcano were to erupt, it would kill an estimated 87,000 people immediately, and make 2/3 of the USA immediately uninhabitable. As the large spew of ash into the atmosphere would block out sunlight, and directly affect life beneath it, creating a nuclear winter and threatening all life on Earth. The volcano is 80 kilometers, 50 miles, long, 20 kilometers, 12 miles, wide, and the 1,500 F chamber of molten rock beneath the surface is 7 miles deep. The caldera is so huge volcano hunting scientists failed to spot it for years, unaware they were walking all over it. The massive eruption could be a staggering 6,000 times as powerful as the one from Washington's Mount St. Helens in 1980. Which killed 57 people and deposited ash in 11 different states, and 5 Canadian provinces. Additionally, a climate shift would ensue as the volcano would spew massive amounts of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, which can form a sulfur aerosol that reflects and absorbs sunlight. Researchers from the University of Utah's seismograph stations have been monitoring the activity since it began last week. The strongest quake of 4.4 magnitude hit on Thursday, June 15, and the latest on Monday, June 19, saw magnitude 3 earthquake, striking 8.6 miles north-northeast of West Yellowstone, Montana. University of Utah's seismograph stations described the swarm as an energetic sequence of earthquakes in the area. A spokesman said, the epicenter of the shock was located in Yellowstone National Park, 8 miles north-northeast of the town of West Yellowstone. The earthquake was felt in the towns of West Yellowstone and Gardner, Montana, in Yellowstone National Park, and elsewhere in the surrounding region. Rabbi Yosef Berger, the rabbi of King David's tomb on Mount Zion, told Breaking Israel News, tsunamis, earthquakes, and forest fires are more catastrophic than ever, despite technology giving us the ability to cope with them better. And now scientists tell us of threats we absolutely cannot protect us against, like a volcano that threatens the world. He added that this is a special attribute of the end of days. If a future supereruption resembles its predecessors, then flowing lava won't be much of a threat. The older Yellowstone lava flows never traveled much farther than the park boundaries, according to the USGS. For volcanologists, the biggest worry is wind-flown ash. Imagine a circle about 500 miles, 800 kilometers, across surrounding Yellowstone. Studies suggest the region inside this circle might see more than 4 inches, 10 centimeters, of ash on the ground, scientists reported August 27, 2014, in the journal Geochemistry, Geophysics, Geosystems. The ash would be pretty devastating for the United States, scientists predict. The fallout would include short-term destruction of Midwest agriculture, and rivers and streams would be clogged by gray muck. People living in the Pacific Northwest might also be choking on Yellowstone's fallout. People who live upwind from eruptions need to be concerned about the big ones, said Larry Maston, a USGS volcanologist and lead author of the 2014 ash study. Big eruptions often spawn giant umbrella clouds that push ash upwind across half the continent, Maston said. These clouds get their name because the broad, flat cloud hovering over the volcano resembles an umbrella. An umbrella cloud fundamentally changes how ash is distributed, Maston said. But a Yellowstone megablast would not wipe out life on Earth. There were no extinctions after its last 3 enormous eruptions, nor have other supereruptions triggered extinctions in the last few million years. Are we all going to die if Yellowstone erupts? Almost certainly the answer is no, said Jamie Farrell, a Yellowstone expert and assistant research professor at the University of Utah. There have been quite a few supereruptions in the past couple million years, and we're still around. However, scientists agree there is still much to learn about the global effects of supereruptions. The problem is that these massive outbursts are rare, striking somewhere on Earth only once or twice every million years, one study found. We know from the geologic evidence that these were huge eruptions, but most of them occurred long enough in the past that we don't have much detail on what their consequences were, Maston said. These events have been so infrequent that our advice has been not to worry about it. A far more likely damage scenario comes from the less predictable hazards, large earthquakes and hydrothermal blasts in the areas where tourists roam. These pose a huge hazard and could have a huge impact on people, Farrell said.